Before the podcast starts, I just want to apologize about the screen jumping from Susie to me. We didn't realize until we were done doing this particular podcast that that was what was happening. We do know how to fix that, so the next time we do this through Zoom, we'll be side by side. And we're working on sound quality as well as visual quality, but these things take time and money, so I thank you for being patient with us.
Hello, dearie. Thanks for tuning in to our special New Moon in Aries podcast. I am your co-host, Susie, and we have...
And I'm Trish. Hi.
I just want to take a moment to acknowledge the background behind Trish. It's a quilt that her partner's mother made for them, and it's just so beautiful. I'm going to be distracted by it through the whole thing, looking at all the different things. Did you want to tell them what's in it?
Yeah. It's been quite a few years actually now that Katie's mom gave this to us, but it has like books because Katie and I are huge Harry Potter fans. So there's some books that say Harry Potter on there, and there's some fabric from books from Katie's childhood. And she has like books that say knitting and cross stitch and stuff. There's stuff in behind the chair you can't see, but this is now hanging on the wall of our secret project that we're working on, which is on my other channel. Just mentioning that we're working on a secret project, so that's what this is part of.
Oh, very
yeah,
intriguing.
Yeah, it's almost done, but it's going to be a little while because finances. So I can't. It'll be a little while before I can reveal it. But yeah, but once it's completely done, it'll be really exciting to share it.
And that's on your channel, Hearth and Hawthorn, correct?
Yeah. Yep, that's on my other channel. So yeah, so
watch for that.
Yeah.
Now we're intrigued. So also, in honor of the new moon in Aries, Trish is going to pull an oracle card for us to give us a little bit of what she's feeling for this energy. I have a cat on my lap, just put his claws in me. So the new moon in Aries is about bringing resolution and closure. So things that you have been working on in this cycle are going to come to their natural conclusion. So if you've been putting the work in, good for you.
Yeah.
And then we know that the new moon, we always set our intentions. So Aries has that fiery energy, that passion, that creativity. So it's a time to be inspired. So when you're setting your intentions, dream big. We just got out of getting out of Pisces time, and Pisces was about dreaming, and now Aries is about the action. So we know that there's going to be some inspired, exciting things coming up. What do you think about that, Trish?
Yeah, I know Aries are infamous for dreaming big and starting projects and never finishing them, which when I was younger, that was definitely true of me, but that's not so much anymore. When I start something, I finish it. So age has definitely brought out the better side of the Aries in me.
Oh, nice. I love that. Yay, crones. Yay, hey.
Exactly. Yeah. So I love projects and I love goals. I'm very much a goal-oriented person. And, I do kind of feel like spring is always a good time for, Aries to fall into because it's, new beginnings and projects and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, the oracle deck. So I'm just going to continue on with the same series. It's the Seasons of the Witch, Ostera, and so I did a reading for myself today with these cards.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And wow, it was just bang on. Like it was really good. So I'm really excited to do this for our viewers, our listeners. So I'm just going to, again, I don't know these decks very well, so I'll probably have to read from the book. Oh, look, one just actually flipped over.
Okay.
And chicks.
Chicks. Oh, I love it.
Oh, it's kind of appropriate, isn't it?
Yeah.
There is no greater power than the light that lives on through acts inspired by the heart.
Oh.
That's actually kind of interesting. So let's just see what the book says quickly here. Keywords: confirmation of your good nature, sending out positive vibes, attracting the right kinds of people. So, baby chicks are often associated with innocence and purity, and seeing one in a dream or throughout your day serves as a reminder of your good nature. Regardless of your goals, mistakes, dreams, or hardships, there is so much goodness and value in your spirit. You are a soul of great worth and have many gifts that can positively contribute to humanity. You have pulled this card to remind you of the purity of your heart. There is a part of you that is free from the pain and misfortunes of life, innocent as a baby chick freshly hatched. You might know this being as your inner child or true self. It's the part of your being that pushes you to see the wonder in the world and the good in other people. You are encouraged to approach your situation from a place of trust and kindness. Remember your pure heart and fight meanness with compassion. Oh, okay. Let me redo that. Remember your pure heart and fight meanness with compassion, lies with truth, anger with cheer, and negativity with optimism. And that's it.
I think that's so perfect for right now because how I've been feeling about all of the negativity coming from the tariff wars and now we have our election in progress, the campaigning. And I just feel like, everything is so divisive and it's forcing us to take sides and to get angry. And I really don't think that that is the solution at all. And the meditation that I told you I did last night, it was a meditation to the raven to see if the raven had a message.
Mm.
And for me, the message was to keep the call, for protection and for community and for sharing messages, but the messages are ones of cooperation and hope and community. So for me, that's very important, is to keep that positivity going while still keeping watch and keeping guard, right?
Yeah.
And that's what the crows and the ravens do, is there's always one watching and it calls out to the other ones, right?
Mm.
And there's food here, there's danger here, whatever. So that was an important message for me. And then what your card said to me, that reinforces it. What did you get from the card?
Yeah, it was it was a lot more optimistic than my reading today. Well, not that my reading today was pessimistic, but there were words of caution. One card actually said, "This is not a warning; it's just a caution." So just to be aware of the energies being directed towards you, and as you know, the last couple of days have been in some situation with my own mother. So it was very bang on as to, just make sure to protect myself spiritually and emotionally and that kind of thing. So, but this was much. lighter to me, which was good, because in a way the one today was more uh, be on your guard, but also go with the flow. That was also part of the thing. But yeah, it was a nice to read something a little lighter and more positive. Yeah.
I like that you said go with the flow, because when I did your numerology, your personal year, you're in a year of 5. So you enter that on your birthday, and your birthday is coming up. So the 5 will be for you is go with the flow, right? Be able to be adaptable and flexible. So instead of resisting change, Taurus, you're better equipped at that as an Aries, but it's a good message for you just to be able to, flip that switch and go in another direction when you're coming up against that brick wall, which, sadly right now, you're experiencing that,
Yeah.
with your mom.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really looking forward to leaving the watery Pisces energy that's been hanging around and getting into that Aries energy, which to
Yeah.
me is always, full steam ahead. Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. This actually it could be a little part of the housekeeping that I wanted to mention at some point, and it kind of goes in with this, because today part of my reading was um, the podcast. Like I had a question about the podcast, and going forward with how to make this grow, I guess. And it was very positive actually for that. Um, but so that was probably one of the more positive reading that I had, was the actual podcast
Oh,
itself. So,
yeah.
and with you saying about sharing the message that you had the call, to continue with the call and sharing the message and that kind of thing, it reminded me of that reading and what we're doing in this podcast, right? So it kind of tied in. Um, but what I wanted to say to anybody who's listening, like I get personal messages on Instagram, and I love that I get those about the podcast. Like
Oh,
yeah, I really love that I get those. The only thing I would ask when people feel called to um, send a personal message, I'm just asking, can you also just put a little comment below on the YouTube video, because it helps get in the algorithm, and getting into the algorithm is so hard.
yes.
Yeah, so when there's engagement, you don't even have to write because I get long messages, and I love reading them, and I still want those, but I know that they're personal. But, just a little, this was a great video, or, anything, just something, just a short little comment below would really help us boost our channel, because I'm trying very hard to do everything to boost it, but
Mhm.
it's really hard to do.
Mhm.
So anyway, that was just a small little housekeeping thing. So
Awesome.
yeah,
No, thanks for bringing that up.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
important.
But thank you to everybody who does comment and who does send the private messages on Instagram. I really appreciate that, and I generally share the gist with Susie when they do come in. So yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Exciting. Awesome.
yeah,
So do you want me to do my
yeah.
topic? Okay. So my sister had sent me an article, and it's called 21 Signs You're a Highly Sensitive Person. And I did post this for people that follow my Kylie X Circle page. I did also post it on that. And the reason I was so excited about it is because I almost never find these, signs that you're, or, I find it just panders to people's vanity. Like they want to fit into a category. And as we've discussed on previous podcasts, how much we dislike labels. So I always find that, they're just trying to get you, I guess, click, right? So this one I really resonated with, and it really helped me to feel better about the way I react to things. Because when you are a highly sensitive person, you were made fun of your whole life. You know, oh, you're too sensitive, you know, things make you cry, and, you know, you were picked on and stuff. And fortunately for me, my mother was also a very highly sensitive person. So she never made fun of me that way. But, you know, certainly in school or whatnot. So, you know, I did toughen up a little bit from that. But this little 21 signs, you know, it talks about that it's a personality trait. So you don't feel like there's something wrong with you, right? And it also makes the distinction between being an introvert and an extrovert, because people always told me, "Oh, you're an introvert, you're sensitive." That never really quite resonated with me, because I can be both, of course.
Mhm.
But you know me, Trish, I can be very extroverted and
Yeah.
lively, and other times I can be super quiet and need my alone time. So what I did was I just took all of these 21 things and I wrote them out for myself, and then I put my own little comments beside them. So I just wanted not to talk about myself. I just wanted to go over them for other people, to see if this helps other people too, who, were called too sensitive. You overthink, or, you're not, in the real world. I'm very much in the real world. I'm an earth sign. I'm very practical, and I can be pragmatic, and, I don't go off on flights of fancy, but I do have a lot of anxiety, and I do pick up on, vibrations and stuff. So this article super helped me, and it just disappeared off my screen because that's just right. Mercury retrograde. Yeah. Okay. Just let me click on that again. Okay. So I'm just going to quickly go through them, so other people, if these apply to you. So, one, you absolutely abhor violence and cruelty of any kind. I do find it hard to watch a lot of violence. Some I'm okay, and if it's funny violence, I can watch it. But if there's animals hurt in it, you can forget it, right? Trish and I don't know if you remember being scared by Homeward Bound when we were kids. That movie,
Yeah.
yeah, or Lassie or anything. I just could never.
Yeah.
Even cartoons. I can't even do animals hurt in cartoons.
All right.
Two, you're frequently emotionally exhausted from absorbing other people's feelings. Kind of yes and no, because I think I am I'm a strong person, but just too much of it is too much. Time pressure really rattles you more so than other people. I think that I do react to time pressure. Like, I'm hyper vigilant sometimes. Like, I don't know if you remember, Trish, but when the phone rang, Mom would have to grab that phone. Like, she would run for the phone, right? Like, it was just like time things. Like, she felt she had to answer that right away. Or if the door rang, she had to run for the door. So, I feel those time sensitive things. I want to answer a customer's email right away. And sometimes I don't even finish reading it and I want to answer it. But I'm good with deadlines. I'm good with pressure that way, because that's more goal oriented, don't you find?
Mm-hmm.
So you withdraw often. Yes. Definitely. But you need to recharge. You're jumpy. Oh my gosh. I am so jumpy. Like, even if I know you're coming behind me, I will still jump when you say my name or touch me on the shoulder. It's just brutal. And, I didn't really associate that with being highly sensitive.
Mm.
I just thought, there's something wrong with me. But it makes sense, don't you think? Like, if you're like, I'm always in tune with my environment, like what's going on around me.
Yeah.
And that's for a reason, right? It's to keep you safe. Number 6, you think deeply. Yes. Yes. No need to explain that one. I love this one. You're a seeker. And what's funny is it's number 7 on the list. and a life path 7, which I am, we are the seeker.
Right.
So it's funny that it came up in the number 7 spot. I love that. So yeah, questioning things, wanting to find out why, looking for answers, doing research. You can relate to that too, right?
Yeah.
This one also, sudden loud noises startle you. That's kind of like the jumpy thing, right?
Right.
But if someone rings my doorbell, I will go like right into almost a panic attack. And my cat Bootsy is the same way. Bootsy growls when someone rings the doorbell. So we're in line with that one. But yeah, I mean, it's that same thing, right? It's just that being sensitive to your environment, and then something out of the ordinary happens. And this one is funny, I find. Your clothing matters. So they talk about restrictive clothing, scratchy fabric, tight waistband, pantyhose. I'm going to add in bra.
Yeah.
I talk about that all the time, right? I don't want to wear my bra. So, you know, again, it's just, you know, anything sensory overload, right?
Yeah.
I absolutely hate tight, like pantyhose, horrible. This one, your pain tolerance is less. And I know, you know, you experience, you know, aches and pains quite a bit. And I think because of my IBS that I've had for over 30 years, I just got used to pain. So I have a high pain tolerance, but I still feel it.
Yeah.
You relate to that one?
Yeah.
I love this one because this is so us. Your inner world is alive and present.
Yeah.
And, you know, when we were kids, we had such great imaginations, didn't we? Like we had just so much fun being outdoors and inventing games and playing in the woods and all of that. Did you have imaginary friends?
Oh, yeah. I still do. I can't, like, I know that sounds crazy, but I do talk in my head to somebody. Is it myself? I feel like it's not. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's really cool. So, like, do you have like whole conversations?
Yeah.
Wow,
I
that's
know.
interesting.
Okay, please don't send me to a nut house. Okay.
No, I think you know what we need to make notes. I don't know if you're making mental notes about things that I'm reading through, but I think we need to explore that one more. That's very interesting. I gotta just let me put, because you know me, I'll forget. I get distracted. I'm like a squirrel. I just want to put a little note beside that one, number 11, because I want to talk more about that one for sure. A little squiggle. Okay. Oh, and here is me in a nutshell. Change is extremely upsetting. So I think when you're a highly sensitive person, you know, anything that throws your routine off, right? You know, I mean, it's especially prevalent in autistic people, right? That change is difficult. So, you know, for me as a Taurus, change is, I'm so resistant to. So it's doubly for me. But I embrace change for growth.
Yeah.
Right. So that's how I get through it, is knowing that, you know, it's going to push me. Number 13, sometimes your environment is your enemy. Says moving to a new home or traveling, even if it's just a fun vacation, can be quite difficult for you because your senses are bombarded with so much new stimuli. Do you relate to that?
Yep.
Yeah. That's interesting, isn't it? Sometimes your environment is your enemy. That's kind of sad.
Oh, I feel that all the time.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah, big time. Yeah.
Wow. I know traveling is hard for me. Like not
Yeah.
being in my own home is really hard for me.
Yeah.
14, you're misunderstood.
Hello.
Of course we are.
You know.
That's why we all gathered together, all of us weirdos, right? Locked
That's true.
together.
Yeah.
So it says you're often mislabeled. You may be called shy or anxious,
Mhm.
or something's wrong with you. So it says many HSPs, highly sensitive persons, are labeled as introverts because introverts and HSPs share so many characteristics, such as needing lots of downtime. However, 30% of HSPs are actually extroverts.
Mm.
So it said earlier that 30% of people are HSPs, and then 30% of HSPs are actually extroverts.
Hmm.
So yeah, this one I love. Number 15, you get hangry easily.
Yeah.
Those who know me, do you get hangry?
No,
Oh, awesome.
no.
I used to, before I started intermittent fasting, because I had those dips all the time. Now I'll only get hangry if like it's extended out and I'm doing something, like when I come back from my swim in the morning, I'm headed right for the breakfast, right? Because I know if I don't, I'll probably get into that hangry phase. Number 10, who needs stimulants? When your nervous system is already ratcheted up to the highest level. Some HSPs are sensitive to caffeine. I can't do caffeine. And need very little to feel its buzz. Similarly, some HSPs are also sensitive to alcohol's effects.
Mhm.
So I can't do caffeine, and I gave up alcohol back in November. So not that like I wouldn't have a glass of wine or something with supper. It's just I just don't really bother with alcohol anymore. The older I got, just the worse I would feel.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
but I know you love your coffee.
Yeah, well, just the one, and I can't do caffeine either. I just have one very light caffeinated coffee in the morning, and any other coffee I will have after that is always decaf.
Oh, okay. I didn't
Yeah.
know that. Okay. Yeah. I drink a lot of tea. Sometimes it's caffeinated, sometimes it's not. But if I drink too much caffeinated tea, then I can start to feel that kind of
Yeah.
funny feeling. So yeah, it's interesting. Number 17, conflict is your poison. When there's tension or disagreement, you feel it deeply, and we can become conflict avoidant. And we just want to keep the peace and make people happy. That is definitely me. I don't think you're, um, you know, or anything.
Again, with age, I feel I'm much better at that, but I was definitely never afraid of conflict before, never afraid of stirring the pot. Um, you know, just because a bit of a brat when I was young, but but um, but now, no, I have to say it's not just age that has done changed me in a lot of these things that you're talking about, but it was the death of Alicia that has definitely. I'm not the same person I used to be. I know that, and I'll never be the same person.
Mhm.
It took the edge off a lot of things that uh, sometimes I like, God, I used to be, more less afraid of conflict. You know what I mean? I used to be the one that stirred the pot before,
Mm.
but I don't do that anymore. It's definitely sort of taken the edge off or subdued me in a lot of ways.
Mhm.
So yeah, between that and aging, I definitely, but yeah, conflict before was, I almost looked for it before.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's funny, yeah, because I remember the fire in your eyes.
Yeah.
Or yeah, your eyes would get fiery, and it's like a cat when their ears go back, and you're like, oh, okay. The tail starts switching, twitching. It's like, okay, she's gonna go. Yeah, I just remembered that. That's funny because you're so calm now. But yeah, now that
Yeah.
that's funny. Criticism is a dagger. So positive words can make you soar. Harsh words will send you crashing to the ground. Yeah. I have like pockets of pain from things that people have said to me that I hold on to.
Mhm.
And it's crazy. Like they'll pop up into my head, like for no
Yeah.
reason, just all of a sudden. What do you think about that?
Yeah, definitely. I used to be I used to be criticized for not taking criticism very well, to be honest. Yeah. Yeah. I again I'm better at that, but um it does sort of send me into if I'm being criticized about something, my first go-to reaction, whereas before it would be anger and that fiery spirit would be retaliatory or something, but now instead it just sort of squashes my self-esteem a little bit. I go into a sadness almost, if somebody criticizes, but usually I can work my way through it. It just takes me a little time to get to work myself through it and to actually look at it in an objective way and say, okay, is there any validity to this criticism?
Yeah, I mean, certainly
Yeah.
constructive criticism, which is, something I learned when I did acting in school. You learned to take that constructive criticism to help you be better, right?
Mhm.
And that's super. But yeah, just when someone says something, I remember one time when I was working at the hotel, we were all out at a bar, and the girls were all, saying where they were all had a bunch of jewelry on and where all their jewelry came from and who gave them this. And I didn't have any on, and I held up my hands like this, and this girl said, "I guess no one loves you." It's like,
Wow.
wow. I was just saying I'm not a frou-frou girl. I don't need
Yeah.
jewelry to prove my value, right?
Yeah.
I have it on now. But anyway,
Yeah.
but what a snotty thing to say.
Yeah. Really. Jesus.
And I mean, obviously that comment was more about her than it was about me. But when you're younger, like you really, that's hard, right? It's
Yeah.
hard to work through that objectionably, like you said,
Yeah.
right? Here's one for us. You're conscientious.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really, really am.
Mhm.
And that's, I just feel like when I'm at work, I need to do a good job, right?
Yeah.
And if someone gives me something to do, I need to do a good job.
Yeah.
You're deeply moved by beauty.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would say definitely for you, you love to surround yourself with really
Yeah.
beautiful things. There's things that are meaningful, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Certainly the things you make are beautiful. Here we go. 21. You're perceptive. Really?
Yeah.
I mean, what would I do without my perception and my intuition?
Yeah. Yeah. And going through that list, it's like, wouldn't most people identify with most of these? But I guess, you tend to think everybody sees the world like you do, right? But yeah, I guess people don't, because if it says like 30% are HSPs, then how do the other 70% see things? It's kind of fascinating.
And that's one of our traits, right? That we think deeply
Yeah.
and we're fascinated by human nature. Like I just find people are endlessly fascinating. But I
Yeah.
think that, there's that empathy scale, right? That some people in certain professions, their empathy is more geared towards being professional than it is towards being a compassionate person in general, right?
Mhm.
And I think, it's easy to be two different people, one at work and one at home. But, the reason that I gravitate towards spiritual people as my friends is because they share these traits with me. And
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about being heavily criticized or someone looking at me like I'm weird because, you know, I go off my feelings and my intuition. And
Mhm.
so, yeah. And I think the older I get, the more I just don't want to deal with people who, I don't want to say narcissistic because I think that word is overused a lot, but,
Yeah,
you know, just those people who lack empathy.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's funny because when you mentioned that that, and I saw it on your group, the 21 um what is it? 21 tips,
Traits.
21 traits.
Traits.
Yeah. So I went through them and I was like, yes, yes, yes. Anyway, so afterwards um I thought about them a little more because it's probably been about 6 months to a year ago. I did a couple online tests, and I'm not talking those cheesy online tests, but I mean like the ones that are from medical sites.
Mm-hmm.
One I did was on anxiety. This was probably 2 or 3 years ago. I did this, and I'm a highly anxious person, like highly anxious,
Mm.
and. In fact, it ended up saying, you should probably talk to your doctor
We'll
because you
call
scored there.
911 for you. Just hang on.
You scored very high,
Wow.
and but I kind of knew that, but it was something that was confirming to me. And another test that I did, and this was from an official autism website, because when I googled your HSP thing, I put HSP versus autism, right? Because
Oh, look
yeah,
at you in the deep dive.
yeah, because what is the difference? Because there's a lot of similarities in there,
Mhm.
right? Um, so I think it was about a year ago. I went online to the official Autism Canada site, and there's like a questionnaire there. And when I filled it out, I came up as a medium, high masking autistic
Wow.
person, and I thought, and they were saying like you don't have to have an official diagnosis, like if you're functioning in life, right? You don't have to go to a doctor and get an official diagnosis
Mhm.
unless it helps you
Mhm.
mentally, emotionally. But I figure at this point, what's the point, right? I've dealt with myself, but it was something that definitely confirmed to me a lot of my traits that made sense when I did this questionnaire. And so the same as what you had posted, there's so many things in there that I was like, there's a lot there that describes me, right?
Mhm.
And when I did that HSP versus autism, it said that there's a lot of connection between the two, but there's distinctions as well. So anyway, so yeah, I just thought I'd throw that out. But the one of
Mhm.
the big things is like for autistic people, this stimulation, having to be being overstimulated, but having to have like they call them stems. So that's why I feel like I'm constantly having to do something with my hands. Like,
Oh.
yeah, so that's I have to stitch or knit, and if I'm not, I have to move my hands, or I have to like I'm doing things with my hands all the time because it like calms me down, kind of thing. Yeah.
That's so interesting. I don't know if you watch Survivor, but on this season, there is a lady on there who is autistic, and she has those episodes. And one of the ways she needs to calm herself is through
Yeah.
her hands.
And that's what I do that a lot. Yeah.
And she confided to one of the other contestants. She said, "When I get like this, I need you to help me calm my breathing and calm my hands down."
Mhm.
So he's like a father figure guy. He's been kind of looking out for her. But they switched teams, and she was doing one of the puzzles, and she was having a super hard time with it. She got really, really worked up. and she got herself through it, and she completed the puzzle. But afterwards, she was so overstimulated and overwhelmed that she went into an episode.
Right.
And no one really knew what was going on. Like, they were just like, oh, you know, it's okay, you got through it. And then finally, the host, he recognized the other guy was really concerned, and he said, do you want to come over and help her? And that's what she said, take my hands. And he took her hands, and he just, you know, and he hugged her, and he told her everything's going to be okay, and get her breathing.
Yeah.
And it was just this amazing moment on the show. And then afterwards, Jeff was in tears, the host.
Yeah.
Like, you know, this is the evolution of this show, is that people were so bitchy and horrible to one another.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now we're softer, right? And we're more understanding. And so when someone is in trouble, we automatically want, how can I help you? But we don't know.
Yeah.
The fact that she confided in him, and then she told everybody, she said, you know, this is, you know, how I live. There's nothing wrong with me. It's my condition. But I didn't realize that about the hands. That's really interesting that brought that up. One of the things you'll see when I'm anxious is I'm tapping my foot, or tapping my hand on my leg. And I just, that's, my mind is blown now. I'm making connections.
Yeah, and you know, it's worth checking out, because women in particular are very very good at being high masking neurodivergence for whatever reason. And like the other thing is, like, when I watch our videos, I know that my eyes are all over the place, right? And I know that. And it's interesting because when I watch Alicia's videos, because she's got a couple on YouTube, she's the same. She was the same way. She would look up a lot. I would see so much of her and me. But yeah, it's the whole eye contact thing. That is a big problem for me. I have a hard time with eye contact. Yeah. So, and I feel like these things are all, I don't know if it's new since Alicia passed away, or if I just started really becoming aware of things, or did it trigger it? Did it make it worse? I have no idea. But yeah, so yeah, if people are interested in that HSP autism thing, there are definitely official websites that you can go to. And I've watched like YouTubes on adult diagnosed autism and that kind of thing. And some people say being diagnosed was the worst thing that happened to them. And some people said it helped them. So it's, yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe you could post a link or something.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. What did you want to talk about?
Oh, geez. Well, actually, it was sort of spurred on from the text when we were texting back and forth about my situation with Mom, and you did the numerology reading on me, and we talked about karma. And I said to myself, I hope I don't insult Susie when I say that I don't know that I believe in karma. So, and it was interesting because I was thinking about it. You know, what is my actual belief in karma? And I was just sort of pondering it, because my first knee-jerk reaction to it is I don't. Right? I don't believe in it. And then whatever, I forget. I go about my day, and then on Instagram there was a post about this lady who lost followers because she said that she didn't believe in karma.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Oh my God, people are.
Yeah. And so I was like, well, that's kind of interesting. So anyway, so I thought I wouldn't mind talking a little bit about karma and the threefold law that is very prevalent in Wicca and witchcraft. And if you follow any witchcraft practitioners, witches, whatever, you'll see that a lot, and ye harm none, and or the threefold law, whatever you put out comes back to you three times. And I've always had an issue with that. Karma in particular, uh, I find that karma, when people talk to me about karma, I feel like it's like a fear-based dogma almost. I know it comes like from like the Hindu and Buddhist belief system, and but I feel like it's still yet another um, dogma that tries to keep people behaving the
Right.
way. Now, I think we all have moral compasses, and I don't know that we need religion to have moral compasses, but um, and I get that there should be guidelines, but this thing where it says that if you don't behave the way everybody thinks you should behave, you're going to pay for it, and you're going to pay for it bad. And if you don't pay for it this lifetime, you're going to pay for it next lifetime.
Mhm.
And I just kind of buck up against that because I just feel like it's yet another fear based thing put on people. And also, I feel like it blames victims. So when somebody says, like, what did you do in your past life to deserve what you have now? It's like you're putting the blame, like that's being you're blaming the victim in a way, because if they're going through shit now, they don't need to hear that they've done something shitty in the past to deserve what they're going through now. You know what I mean? So I think and that really, really started for when Alicia died, because people would say that, like, or they would say so many platitudes, but that would be one of them. That would be like, oh, we choose our lifetime, our
Hate that.
yeah. So we choose the life and all the problems were that we're experiencing. I was like, I would never ever choose losing a child, never.
Put
Right?
on my list of things I want to experience. Yes,
Yeah.
my only child dying.
Yeah. Yeah, like so many things that I've been through in my life. I would not purposely choose that. And I also don't believe that I choose it to learn something. Like, I, I just think, have I learned something from all the stuff that I went through? Absolutely. But that is my choice to go through something bad and turn it into something, or have put a positive spin on it, I guess, if you can.
I don't
You know what I mean? But at least learn something or grow from it. I guess that's the word, like you were saying, the change, as drastic as a lot of changes that we go through, hard ones. I don't believe I chose those, but since it happened, I may as well, I may as well grow from it. I may as well try to be a better person from it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I get really weird when I hear about karma, because I just feel like it's fear based and blaming a lot of times. I believe in justice, but I don't believe that there's a universe keeping score. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And unfortunately, sometimes justice isn't served on this planet, and bad people get away with things and good people get hurt. But I don't necessarily believe that there's checks and balances in the universe, that when they die they have to come back and fix it. I don't know if I believe in that.
Mhm.
And so And there's the question of reincarnation too with that, because
Mhm.
reincarnation, part of me believes it, and part of me is not sure. I feel like I've experienced two past lives,
Mhm.
but because I'm questioning the whole reincarnation concept, I'm like, was that just a flight of fancy, a delusion, or was that real? It felt real.
Mhm.
So I just chalk it up as to I don't know, right?
Mhm.
Um, but and it's the same on sort of on the same subject, the threefold law. It just makes me feel like, okay, you put something out and it comes back to you three times. Um, that feels very much like a karmic. It's just another way to talk about karma, but in a way, it's like worse unless you do something really good. But good people do good things and still have shitty things happen to them, right?
Yeah.
The stuff that bounces back at them isn't three times better, you know. So I don't necessarily adhere to that threefold law, because that too was invented by Gerald Gardner in 1950s or whatever, you know,
Mhm.
very Wicca based. Like, it was a white dude who came up with this, and I think the intention might have been, you know, good, but I also feel like, is that also a way to keep women um, less powerful,
Mhm.
more fearful? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
is that saying, oh, if you put a hex on somebody, that's going to come back at you three times, because Wicca, witchcraft, all this stuff is a very strongly feminine energy, right? Presence, a lot more women in it than men.
Mhm.
And so you have this guy who kind of comes up with this guideline or rule or whatever. It's like, yeah, maybe on a subconscious level there was a little bit of that male, let's just keep these women just, you know, not too powerful. You know what I mean?
Oh, well, I mean, it was the 50s, right? And that was just the attitude
Yeah.
that men had, right? They've always been fearful of us. But yeah, the threefold thing never did it for me. I have a little bit of a different view of karma, I think. Um, that I totally get what you say about um fear-based, because I am totally against anything that's fear-based dogma. Sorry, I guess I'm in the dark now, aren't I? Woo! Um, for me, karma is, um, I guess I'm gonna have to think about how I can explain it. Um, but yeah, I have several mentors, teachers who teach about, um, what you said, that we write our contract, we come into this life and we choose what, you know, and it just really bothers me, and it always has. And it just, there's something in there that there's a bit, but I just want to somehow tweak it, or
Yeah.
I don't know, it just never really sat with me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, definitely, what happened to you, just horrific things that happen to people. Why do some people have really great lives and other people have really crappy lives? And I don't believe in a victim mentality. That really, I have no time for people who feel sorry for themselves all the time. I feel sorry for myself a lot, but I get over it. I don't
Yeah.
live in that. I don't live in that.
Yeah.
But yeah, karma is, um I guess I can carry things over from one lifetime into another, and I can carry things within this lifetime that I need to get over. So for me, it is kind of about, um, being a victim as opposed to taking control of your life. And that in this life, I meant I meant to level up, level up, level up. So for me, that's what karma is. It's more about growth
Yeah.
than it is about I was a shitty person in my last life, so now I've got to make up for that. Or,
Yeah.
you know, I was an abuser, so now I'm the one being abused.
Right.
Like I can't deal with that.
Yeah.
It's like it's just a cycle of back and forth, or
Well, and especially if it comes back at you 3 times, you're always in debt.
it's like that card game we used to play 952, or once you got negative, it just kept building. You could never get out of the hole.
I don't remember that, but yeah.
Horrible game. Yeah. So I guess, yeah, for me, I just want to focus on always moving forward, and always, like, I like what you said about, you know, you had a choice, you know, after, you know, your daughter died, and you went through the processes and the stages of grief, and you had a, you know, a choice to make.
Yeah.
Am I going to go on and, you know, and honor her memory and keep her alive, or am I going to just fall into oblivion, which people do, right? And, you know, I understand why people take their own lives and choose to exit this life. I get it.
Yeah.
It's fucking hard. Like, life is really hard sometimes. So I understand it.
Yeah.
But the real strength, I think, is finding ways within yourself to just, you know, grow and grow and grow. And, you know, I like being an inspiration, which is, you know, what I hope from this channel is that people who have questions, who are seekers, you know, we ask questions of one another and we learn from one another, you know, just like you and I do when we, you know, talk back and forth, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you're so interesting to me because you think. If I introduce a topic, you think about it.
Right.
You know, you took that article and you researched it.
Yeah.
You don't just go, oh, that's nice, Susie, and then on to the next subject, right? Oh, how interesting that is. Let's talk about. And I'm sorry if I do take over. Sometimes I get excited about a topic and I'll.
No, but that's good. And that's, I appreciate that, because that's what, you know, that's what passion is, right? Passion. And you know, Aries are definitely passionate people, and I love seeing passion in other people, right? When somebody's passionate about something, I get very happy and excited for them, you know, because that's, I don't know, to me, it's a fire, and it's a light inside of a person that's ignited. And so, yeah, that's why I always
makes life worth living. Passion makes life worth living.
Yeah. That's why I like to learn about so many different things, because I like to learn about what makes other people passionate, even though it's not something I would do. Right. But I just love learning about it. Like Katie in football, when we first were together, I was like, but because it was such a passion of hers, I want to learn about it and participate, right? Like, well, I don't play football, but I'll sit and stitch and kind of watch the game and be interested in it, because I see that passion in other people. When I was with Tom, it was his guitars and music. So I learned as much as I could about it so that I could share in his passion. You know what I mean? So that's just my personality. I love seeing passion in other people.
That is very unselfish of you.
I don't know, because I don't know if it's unselfish, because I get joy from it. So I get something from it too. You know what I mean?
Okay. Well, that's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I might poo-poo other people's passions sometimes. Really? I like sports. I like live sports. I'll go to a Mooseheads game and have a, you know, I can enjoy it, but watching sports on TV, Norfest for me. Not awful. Yeah. Don't tell Katie. But, you know, it's funny because, you know, we often talk about you being an Aries and me being a Taurus. And when I was younger, you know, you and mom were Aries and very Aries. I think mom might have been a double or triple Aries. I don't know, but it made me crazy.
Yeah.
And I think there was a lot of, you know, butting heads over me being a Taurus and you guys being Aries. And it wasn't until I was an adult that I really started appreciating Aries people. And now I love having them in my life. Like I look for Aries people because I think like their intelligence is really on fire.
Right.
And that's what I love. And I love the passion, the creativity, and just being able to like do things, like having, you know, that push through things. Like you said, you know, now you complete projects. Ouch, cat. But yeah, I did not probably appreciate Aries when I was younger. And I mean, stubborn, right?
Yeah.
Taurus, there's Taurus stubborn and there's Aries stubborn. And oh my God.
Yeah. It's so funny, but yeah, it's funny at work we get these, you know, very academic books, and some of the subjects I'm like, why the fuck would you write like 500 pages on this? Like, you know, the toes on some ant or something, you know, and how it affects the ecosystem in South Africa, or you know, and it's a tome of research, and I'm like, to be that passionate about that subject. Now, that's not something I want to learn about because I don't know this person. But if I was married to that person, I probably would invest, you know, time and learn about their passion. But it still fascinates me that people write or research or are passionate about a subject so bizarre. You know what I mean? And write books about it. Like, I come across it quite often at work because I work in an academic library. So,
Right.
you know,
Right.
it's just weird. It's like, why are you so passionate about this?
I love nerdy people though.
Yeah, I know.
I really do. And, you know, I like if someone is quirky and eccentric and, you know, really knows a lot about a subject,
Mm-hmm.
like I'm fascinated by that
Yeah, me too.
as
Yeah.
long as it's not sports. But don't
Yeah.
hate me. That's awesome. I have no idea how much time has gone by.
I know. It's probably
Does
a
this
lot.
does our Zoom thingy show how long we've been recording? I don't know.
I feel like it's been a while. So
I
maybe
think
we
so.
should leave it.
Yeah, I think we had a lot of really good conversations.
Yeah.
Yeah, we covered a lot of topics.
Yeah. Cool. Well, this was fun.
Yeah, thank you for joining me in this.
Yeah.
And I do hope that the Zoom uploads really well.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is the first time that Trish and I are doing our, isn't it? Is this our first time doing this one? This
Via
way?
Zoom. Yeah. We tried with the Skype or whatever it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
That
So
didn't work. So, yeah.
yeah.
So,
We'd rather be in the same room together, but
yeah.
because we live an hour away from each other, this is pretty practical for us. So
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
awesome.
So we'll say good night and happy new moon. And we'll see you in a couple weeks, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks, Trish.
All
Okay.
right. Bye.
Bye.